Hey guys, back to working on the Philco 49901 cabinet. In particular, what I'm working on now is the drum control wheel thingy. So, as I mentioned in the last installment, I had used or left paint thinner on this a little bit too long and it pitted the plastic. So first I was thinking I'd put on some coats of primer and sand it down. That is pretty tedious though, so then I got the idea, well, how about I take some of this Bondo glazing compound and kind of use it like grain thinner. So I thinned some down with lacquer thinner, just in the cap of the container here. And I took a stick and cut it, or filed it down to the same profile. And I'm kind of, well, filling in the voids. So I'll load some up on the stick and then run it through a few times. Seems to be working pretty well. Just takes a few passes. Kind of load it up with some of the filler and then run this through a few times. Did have an offer to 3D print a replacement. Thanks for the offer, but unless I just cannot get this to work, I just as soon stick with the original. Once this dries, then I will sand it a little bit. I shouldn't have to sand the grooves really though, but some of the outside I'm getting a little sloppy here. And then I'll be painting it gold. That actually worked out pretty darn well. So next up, another coat of primer. And that should be a lot more telling as to how well this filling in technique worked out. So the time has finally come to start putting on the final color, and I know it's controversial. And I'm also surprised at how bright this green looks on some of the YouTube videos. This is the closest thing to avocado green I've found. It is a pale green. It is not a bright green. And it originally came in two colors, beige and avocado basically. And as I said in the last video, I'm not really a purist, but I actually do like this color. So it's a happy coincidence, and that's what I'm going to go with. So, couple coats of primer, sanded it with 600 grit. It's pretty darn smooth. All the defects are worked out. So here we go, and this is what I get for procrastinating all summer. It's now 25 degrees out, so I have to paint in the basement with the ventilation fan on, so we'll see. I figure I'll be doing a coat and then probably sanding it. I'm sure bits of dog hair and dust and stuff are going to settle on it. I would have liked to have done this in the garage, but that's just not going to happen unless I wait till next year. But this project has gone on a lot longer than I anticipated. And hey, the nice thing about this, I can always repaint it. And so can somebody else down the road, whoever inherits this radio and wants to paint in a different color. They can go ahead and strip it and repaint it. So I am going to shake up these cans a bit more and then get to it. I'm not going to film while I'm doing it because I don't want to get distracted. I don't want to get paint on the camera. I don't have a whole lot of room where I'm painting right now, but I will certainly show you after the first coat goes on. Alright, so here it is after the first pass, and it's funny just looking for the viewfinder. It looks so much greener through the viewfinder than it is in real life. Crazy. So you just gotta take my word for it, or go to the store and look for Ivy Green Valspar paint, but this is pale green. Here, maybe this will help. This is bright green, or brighter green, so maybe that helps a little bit. Anyways, okay paint job. There seem to be some reactions here and there between the primer, almost like fish eyes like you get when you spray lacquer, like here. And this paint's kind of weird in that it actually dries pretty darn quick. You only need to wait 1 minute between coats and it dries to the touch in 10 minutes. But unfortunately, like most enamels, either recoat within 2 hours or wait 48. So I need to sand this. I got some little schmutz in it here and there, and some little bit of orange peel here and there, and some more weird reaction there. But the worst part is in the back. I got some runs down in there, and a little dog hair down in there too. The one thing I learned about runs over the years: don't even think about trying to mess with it. Just let it sit and let it dry for a couple days and sand it out and repaint it. Okay, moving on to the bottom now. I'm done with primering and sanding, and I'm very happy with the way it's turned out. So now on to the green. Nice thing about this is it dries really fast. Dries in 10 minutes or less, and just wait 1 minute between each coat. Now, the only downside to that is I do like to sand, at least after the initial green coat of your green paint. I will want to sand it at least once before I do a final coat. But in 10 minutes it's not dry enough to sand. So apply additional coats within 2 hours or after 48. Within 2 hours it's still a little too soft to sand, so I have to wait 2 days. This is what I'm getting at. So I will spray it on, do a few light passes, wait 2 days, sand it, and then hopefully do a final coat. If there's still flaws, I'll have to wait another 2 days, sand out the flaws, and paint it again. And also, I kind of need to do 2 passes because I want to get this top lip and then the bottom. So I'm going to first spray around. I just want to get a little paint on this. It's not real visible, but when you put the two halves together, there's a little bit of a gap, and I'll see a little bit of this edge. So first I'm going to just do a pass or two around the top. Then I'm going to flip this over, put it up so it's elevated, and then spray around the whole thing. Not too shabby at all. I think I could just live with this as is, actually. Now, I've been trying to convey to you guys that this is not bright greens. I know the way the colors reproduce and look on different monitors and YouTube after video encoding and whatnot, so I got some other items out. So, coffee cup, dark green. Screwdriver case, I'd call that medium green. This, very, very pale green. I wouldn't even necessarily call it avocado. It's almost a little too light for that. But it is certainly not bright green. Alrighty, I think I can live with that. Is it perfect? No. Are there any major runs or chips or dog hairs or anything like that? No. But, no, it's not a perfectly smooth surface. I could wet sand it, I could clear coat it. But realistically, as at least one of you pointed out, this is a can of spray paint. It's not the same as they'd use in factory, or they'd use on a car body, where they mix it fresh. They use special spraying rigs and so on, a controlled temperature and so on. But I got to say, as far as just using a rattle spray paint can, this stuff is really nice. I especially like that it dries to the touch in 10 minutes, and that you can recoat after just a minute. Yeah, the fumes are a little intense. You use ventilation, but because it dries so quickly, you don't get all the dust and crap sticking to it. I'm down in the basement, and I got to admit, it hasn't exactly been vacuumed down here recently, so there's plenty of debris around, and really did not have any issues. So cool. So what I'm going to do now is, it's been about 3 days, so I think it's safe to say it's pretty well cured. I'm going to mask off this front, and I want to spray that grill with gold. I sanded and did a second coat on the top. It came out really, really nice. Maybe good enough that I'm done. And I sprayed the control wheel with some Duplicolor gold. That also turned out really nice. I still need to let all this paint cure for a couple more days. And then time to do the pinstripe in gold, and mask off and do the grill in gold, and the recessed lettering. And wow, I guess that'll be about it. Other than to reassemble it, get the dial light back in there, and all that. So getting really close. I think the bottom might be good enough too that to call that done.